So in this video we are going to learn loops in Java. In Java program we can write looping in various way by using while loop, by using do while loop, by using for loop. For loop there are two categories. One is external for loop and another is internal for loop. For external for loop that we can use up to Java 7 and from Java 8 internal for loop like the arrival of stream API where we can write the internal for loop. So let's explain one by one. So basically this is suppose the Java code, and then in while loop you are going to print the digit from 0 to first 10 digit. So now first I mention the counter and then the main logic, and then this is the condition and then the increment or decrement operator. So if I run this program, it will print 0 to 10, 0 to 9 because it is less than 10. Now there is a do while loop second part. So we do while loop, first actually statement will be executed, then it will check the condition. So here if I print, let's say I less than 0, and but then also it will print the first line, and from next line onwards it will not print. So if I check, if I make it I less than 1, let's say, okay, first make it 0 and then if I run the program, so here it will print 0 even though I mention I less than 0. So in situation where we need to execute the first statement in any way and then want to check the condition, then we should use the do while loop. So let's say if I make it 2, then actually it will print 2 and then it will stop. Sorry, it will actually print 0 1 1 and then it will stop because it is checking after that. So next part is for loop. So basically for loop we can use it is a old for loop statement like the counter. It is same as normal while, where in while we are mentioning the first the initialization of the counter and then the condition and then the increment or decrement operator. Same thing we mention in the for loop in a more concise manner. So if I run this it will print 0 to 9. So next is for loop by iterator. So iterator actually all the it is actually the iter API is used to iterate the collection. So it is introduced when the collection framework was introduced. It has some API like hash next, like next, remove, and other. So let's say in how we can iterate a list. So this guest list is like I just create one list that has 4 elements. So I want to iterate it. So iterator, I need to create list dot iterator, and then next is hash next. This is the condition. So it as the next element it will go, otherwise it will stop. And the next API actually give you the actual element of the list. So if I run this program, it will print 4 element 1 2 3 4. So next is list iterator. So it is kind of extension of iterator. It has some more or extra method. So here we can have the hash previous, hash next, those two methods are present, and also we can have the index method. We also have the set method, add method. So that actually uh, support in list. Iterator is more generic, so in collection framework, but list iterator is only can be used for list iteration. So this like I mentioned, comes with the remove, add, set, has previous, hacksness, all those method. So if I iterate it using like that, so same thing, instead of iterator I need to use the list iterator, and apart from that everything is same. So it will print 1 to 4. Next is for each. So from Java 5 we can use the for each statement where the first, like we need no need to mention the condition, we just need to mention the type of the object and then need to mention the list, that like list of elements. So here it is a list of integer, so I mention the integer and the list colon, it is like a colon separated operator, and can write this way, run. Okay, next is, up to this is external. Now from here it is internal. So what is the difference between external and internal? Mainly external for loop means the iterator or counter iterate the loop or the list externally. It is not maintained inside, or it is not written internal to the Java APIs. In this internal for loop, this is like maintained by Java. Like this particular iteration is done internally in Java. It is written by Java, like provided from the Java API itself, and we need to provide the actual logic here, like with the element, what we can do with the element. So basically from Java 8 this features has been introduced. So when I will explain the Java 8 features, then in detail I will explain how to, like how to write the stream API, how to write the functional interface, how to write the different kind of operator or use it. So let's say this is one kind of example. We can actually by default we can item operator like this, and we can actually use in different way. So for this example I am not going to use it, so it is the list and we just able to use it like this way. So by default it is iterable, list is iterable. So this is one example. So if I use this, then it will print the element, but here it is internal loop, it is maintained internally by Java APIs. And next is the stream. So again, whenever I will explain the difference between normal list and stream, then maybe the stream part I will explain in detail. For now, let's say for this particular tutorial, uh, you can have that we have a stream API in Java where also we have a for each, same way like iterable, and there also I can able to print the elements or iterate over it same way. So if I use it, it will also print the first 4 element. So basically there are total 8 to 9 ways to loop over the list in Java. First one I mentioned, normal loop, while loop, then do while, then for with the counter, and then for with iterator only, this is generic, and then for with list iterator, then for loop with the each for each loop, and the up to that is external loop, and then internal for each like the list dot for each started from Java 8, and then stream dot for each. Okay, that's all. Hope you understood.